Hello, budget friends. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome or welcome back to Budgeting Over 40. I'm Melissa, and in this video, we are going to do our monthly budget forecast for the month of March. Can you guys believe it? We're going to jump in and we're going to talk about what income we expect to come in, all the bills that needs to be paid, and towards the end of this video, I'm also going to break down what I expect the paychecks to look like when we do get paid. So let's jump in. All right, you guys. So we're going to jump into the income section first. We are getting paid the 28th of February. So I'm recording this video on the 26th. We are getting a second paycheck in February, but that is going to serve as our first paycheck in the month of March. So I'm actually going to put a rollover of $3,377. That was what I forecast from February's monthly budget, and I'll put that video in the cards or link it down below for you guys to see. Now, how things are changing this month is because, like I mentioned last time we were here, hubby is now fully self-employed. We still have not figured out his pay schedule, you guys. So I'm still going to consider him and myself on the same bi-weekly pay schedule. And if anything change in March, we'll adjust as we go forward. But as far as forecasting for the monthly budget, I'm going to stick with the bi-weekly paycheck schedule. So for my paycheck in the month of March, I'm expecting two in the amount of $2,377. And then there is the SSI benefits that comes in every month for $1,375. So that's a total of $6,129 just for my income. And I'm also going to budget with the minimum that hubby was sending in. If he sends in more, we will see. But we did talk about it. And the last time I did my paycheck budget, he did put an additional $500 to the $1,000 he's usually putting over into our household bills account. So I'm not sure what's happening for the end of February. We'll see if it changes. We'll adjust when we do the YNAB budget with me to allocate the funds. You guys will see that. So $2,000 is what I'm expecting. And for miscellaneous and transfers, I'm not expecting anything. So that's a total forecasted income for the month of March of $11,506 even. Now we're going to jump down into the fixed expenses because these bills I cannot, when I say I cannot skimp on these. Some of them do change, in terms of maybe some pennies or a couple of dollars because I do budget using round numbers. But these, along with my debt payments, has to be paid every month. So let's start off with the rent for 2,500. Electric is 107. We are on balance billing. HP Inc. I'm budgeting 6. Peloton at 44. Google Cloud at 3. My car insurance. So I did do a little bit of a change with the car insurance for the next few months going forward. So last year sometime I did change our deductible because I wanted to lower the insurance. So I raised the deductible to 1,000. But then I'm over here panicking because I'm like, I don't have a car's sinking funds with enough money to cover a deductible just in case something happened. $500, which was the deductible before, is a little bit easier to work with than $1,000. So I went ahead and I dropped it back down to 500. And because of that, the insurance premium for the 6 months went up about $80. So it's going to be $255 for the rest of the month in, I believe it's from March until June. The new policy is going to renew in July. So that's what it is. Renter's insurance is 44. And the renter's insurance, this is going to be the last month until September. So I will have a break from April until August, and then we're going to start up again in September. So this is going to help us out. As you can see here, the next one that's up is braces. Braces is still in here because we are going to go to the orthodontist for my son somewhere in the month of March. I'm not sure what they're going to do. We are done paying for phase one. Yes, we are. But I know that phase two will be coming sometime soon. And I don't want to take this line item out of the budget. But we are going to, take out the amount that we're paying because we've completely paid off phase one. and we're just going to move on. So iCloud storage is $10, SiriusXM is 8, our cell phone is rounded out to be $250 per month. Now something is changing with our cell phone as well. We have finished paying for one of the devices, so it should have gone down about $45. But we have gotten a mobile hotspot because hubby does use his phone, even though we have a business number. So the thing, we have T-Mobile and we have multiple lines on T-Mobile. So we did go ahead and get a hotspot, a mobile hotspot for him to use when he's out on the road working, because his cell phone tends to slow down a lot. And he's explaining to me, I don't get it, but he's saying that he needs internet when he's out, just in case he needs to, look up a part to order or anything that he needs to do on his laptop while he is out working. So we did get the hotspot. We have not converted what we have, what we consider the business cell phone over to the business itself. It's still within our personal cell phone because I do get a discount from T-Mobile. And because we do have multiple lines, there's also a discount for that. That's something we're going to have to look into going forward. So even though we have paid off one of our devices, now we have to pay for a mobile hotspot, which is $15 less than what the device was. So we're still paying $250. All that to say, our cell phone bill is going to be $250. All right, internet 89, child support is 526, and after school right now I'm going to put 80, but something is also changing with this one. It seems like I can't win. I pay something off and then something else come up. We are doing a trial run with my little one going to the same after school program that my son is going to. And the reason why we're doing this, the fact that hubby is now self-employed, his days are a little bit longer. So before, he had a period of time in between the full-time job and working for himself, but he's hustling right now, you guys. So we need somewhere for the kids to be. And instead of doing the babysitter, which will cost us a lot more, it makes perfect sense to try to get the kids in the same spot. So pickup is a little bit easier. And the after school is a little bit cheaper than the babysitter. But not only that, when she turns 5 and go into kindergarten, the after school will accept her. So that's where she's going to be going ultimately. So we're doing a trial run. We're seeing how it works out, seeing how she does in the program. And if she's doing well and they fully accept her, we're going to have to pay $80 per month for her as well. We're just going to go with the $80 for my son right now, and we'll see how that goes. You guys will hear about it as we go forth or forward into March. Now, with all that, the total amount that we're expecting for our fixed bills is $3,922 even. And out of our income, we're left to budget $7,584. Now, let's move down into the debt. For our credit card minimums, we have three to pay, which is $67 for Mattress Firm. There is 101 for Capital One number two, and there is $50 for my Apple Card. We only have three credit cards left to pay off, and that amounts to $218. Now I'm going to jump down into the snowball because the Chase payment that I was making, and as you can see, I did make myself a note because I was thinking ahead to put the braces payment into the snowball just to accelerate it a little bit. But because we may have to pay for the after school, I'm not sure how that's going to be. Maybe I'll split it and put $80 into the after school, and the $84 I'll put into the snowball. But $46 from Chase, that was our minimum payment for Chase. That's now our snowball payment. All right, so student loan is 40, auto loan is 940, and our personal loans, two of them, amounts to $1,690. So the total debt amount is $2,934 even, and that's going to leave us with an amount to budget, $4,650. Now let's move up to the savings. I have changed things up when it comes to savings and sinking funds. I am going to go with four categories. They're broken down a little bit more in my YNAB budget, but For the sake of the spreadsheet and just to make things a little bit easier for myself, I have them in four categories here: cars, family, home, and subscriptions. So now for cars, when I work out what my defensive driving is going to be and also what the car registration is going to be, it works out to be $22 that I need to set aside in these sinking funds per month. For family, I want to set aside $70 per month. For subscriptions, let's go down, jump home for a minute. Subscriptions, I need $30 per month. So I want to save a minimum of $300 per month. That is the minimum that I want to put aside to whatever I need to save for. So $122 is assigned already. So I'm going to need $178 to total 300. So that's going to go into home. So out of that, we are left with $4,350 to budget. So into variables, we're going to do $250 for car fuel. Dining out, we're going to do 100. Given, 10. Groceries and consumables, 1,000. My babies, we're going to do 60. Personal, 100. And wellness is at 10. So that's a total of $1,530 even. And that's going to leave us with $2,820. And what I'm going to do with that is put it directly into rollover. Now, why I'm doing this, we are getting two paychecks in the month of March. We're getting paid on the 14th and we're getting paid on the 28th. Now, the paycheck on the 28th has to roll into the month of April to take care of the bills that are due the first part of the month. The same thing that happened with February is the same thing that's happening with March because we are down to a zero-based budget here, as you could see. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to jump over into quarter one paycheck budgets. And then I'm going to budget out each paycheck because I want you guys to see, and also for myself, what I need to do with what paycheck. All right, so let's plug in the income. The first paycheck or the first pay period is going to be from March 1st to March 13th because we're getting paid on the 14th. And then I'm going to run the 14th paycheck all the way to the end of the month because I like to try and keep the month together. Because when I do a budget closeout in YNAB or even for the spreadsheet, I close out for the month on a whole. So for the rollover for pay period number one, it's going to be the $3,377. The main income that we're expecting is just the SSI benefits. Miscellaneous and transfers, we're expecting nothing. So for the first pay period, we're going to expect to bring in $4,752. Now let's go into the second pay period. Now, what's going to change with this one is that we're not going to roll over anything from the first. Our main income is going to be different. So all of the income that we're going to get in the month of March is going to be considered our main income. So here we go. $2,377 times 2. That's going to be my paychecks. Then I'm going to put in the $2,000 from hubby for our household bills. So total that we're looking at in the second part of the month, I shouldn't say the second pay period, but the second part of the month from the 14th till the end of the month, the 31st, we're expecting to work with $6,554. But out of that money, remember, we are going to need to roll over, and let's go down to the bottom, $2,820. So when I do all the budget for the second half of the month, I'm supposed to have $2,820 left. Okay? So $6,754 is what we're expecting because there's no miscellaneous and there's no transfer. All right? So let's move to the fixed bills. In the first pay period, we're going to have to pay the rent, electric, HP Inc., Peloton, Google, car insurance, and the renter's insurance. Everything else, because braces is zero, braces is usually due or was due on the 15th. So that's usually our cutoff mark for most of our pay periods. So that means there's nothing going out within the second pay period, just for these. Okay? But in the second pay period, we have to pay all of the bills that's due. So this is iCloud storage, SiriusXM, the cell phone, the internet. After school, I'm going to put at the end of the month. And for child support, let's split it because I like to send my older daughter monies in the first part of the month and the second part of the month. So on a bi-weekly basis. Everything else in the middle here, let's put to zero. So $3,222 for the first pay period is due in fixed bills and $700 is due in the second. That should total $3,922, which it does. All right, let's move down to the debt section. Our first credit card is our mattress firm. That's due on the 14th. So that means it's after we get paid for the second pay period. So we're not going to put anything in the first. We're going to put the $218. All of it is going in the second pay period. Student loan really do have to be paid in the first pay period. So nothing in the second. My auto loan. So now my auto loan, $940 is due on the 25th. That's the date that the auto loan is due. So what I'm going to do is push it to the second pay period. Okay, nothing in the first. Now for the two personal loans, upgrade, I usually pay it earlier on in the month. So I'm going to put the $630 here. And then for lending club, that one is due on the 30th. Upgrade is also due on the 30th, but the trend is I've been paying it early. So I want to reduce the amount of days in between. So I'm paying it earlier in the month. So $1060 for lending club will be in the second pay period. Extra debt. Now the extra debt payment is the $46. That's the snowball. I'm going to put it to be $46 in the second pay period and nothing in the first. So that's $670 for the first pay period and $2,264 in the second for a total of $2,934. Now let's move down to the savings. So I know that there is an automatic savings withdrawal that comes out the first. There's one that comes out in the first week, and there's one that's dated on the 8th. Comes out every month on the 8th. So what I'm going to do, it's usually $60. So I'm going to put $60 there in family and $10 over here. So we're just going to leave just the $60 in the first pay period because we're running out of money. And then we're going to put the 22 in the second for cars, the 178 in the second for home, and the $30 in the second for subscriptions. So those two, $60 in the first pay period and $240 in the second, is going to round out to be $300, the total amount that we set aside for savings. So next we're going to jump into variables. As you can see, we only have $800 left in the first pay period. So we have to make this work. So let's put $100 for fuel, $50 for dining, $5 for giving, $500 for groceries and consumable, $30 for my babies. I can put $100 for personal. And then let's put the $10 here for wellness. So that means we could put the full giving amount because we're left with $5. We could put the full giving in the first paycheck just to zero it out because remember, we didn't budget anything in miscellaneous. So now the first pay period is completely assigned down to zero. So all we have to worry about is the second pay period. Now we put 100 for the first pay period, so 150 has to come out the second pay period. Dining out will need $50 more. Given is going to be zero. Groceries and consumables is going to be 500. My babies is for 30. Personal is going to be zero. And wellness is also going to be zero. So that's a total of $800 in the first pay period, $730 in the second, for a total of $1,530. And as you can see here, without me going all the way down to the bottom, we have the $2,820 that we're supposed to be left with to roll over into the month of April. So, you guys, that's what it is. I have assigned all the money. I know what bill needs to be paid in what pay period, and I know what I'm working with. So, I know I didn't put anything in heating oil, I didn't put anything in propane. I don't think we'll need propane in the month of March. If anything, we'll need it in April. Or even if we do get it in March, it's going to be delivered in March, but billed at the end of the month or somewhere that will need to be paid in April. So we won't worry about that. And heating oil, we did just get heating oil at the end of February. So hopefully we can push this to the end of March because it's starting to warm up. As of today, we're at like 45 degrees. I know it can get cold again because we're still within winter, but if we need to do anything with heating oil, we can always take it out of the home sinking fund. Okay. And then make up the difference with the budget. All right. We have worked out the paycheck budgets or the paycheck pay periods. And we have also worked out the monthly budget forecast. So we have assigned all of the income we're planning to bring in all the way down to zero. So that's what it is. Hopefully, everything stays status quo as far as the bills, maybe even come in a little bit less. But hopefully, I can also get a little bit more money, more than the $2,000 that I have forecasted here from hubby. We shall see. If we can get that, then we can be in a better position for the month of March. But I don't want to set myself up for failure because I have been forecasting and I have been forecasting a lot more than I'm bringing in. So I'm just going to keep it at a bare minimum. It will always be nice to get a little bit more. So, all right, you guys, that's it for this video. I appreciate you for taking the time out to watch. Until next time, you guys, I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.